Welcome to Gilcone Field for this matchup, non-conference matchup for the Tornadoes against Emory and Henry. Michael Merriman on the mound for the Tornadoes on this Wednesday afternoon matinee from Gilcone Field. So getting underway here, top of the first, Brevard versus Emory and Henry. Non-conference matchup between two NCAA Division III schools. And leading off for the Wasp against Michael Merriman is Ross French. He takes a ball inside, 1-0 the count to French as we are underway at 1:59 p.m. Eastern Time with the first pitch. Second pitch, low and outside, ball 2 to Ross French. French, a senior from Bridgewater, Virginia. As count runs to 3-0, Merriman versus French. Second baseman Andrew Francisco waits on deck for the Wasps. Called strike there, 3-1 the count to French. Gorgeous weather here in early March. Little on the chilly side, but blue skies here in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And called strike 2, so the count now full to French. And here's the 3-2. And fouled off. Emory and Henry enters this matchup with a record of 2-7. The Tornadoes 3-9 in the early goings of this season. And the 3-2 to French, fouled off again. So the 8th pitch of the at-bat put into play there and handled by the second baseman Ryan Roon for out number 1. That brings up Andrew Francisco, the second baseman, with 1 out. Francisco, the senior from Abington, Virginia, not far from the Emory and Henry campus. And ball 1 to Francisco. So the count 1-0 with 1 out here, top of the first. Called strike, 1-1 the count now to Francisco. And the 1-1 fouled off, 1-2 now the count to Andrew Francisco. Michael Merriman settling in after a 3-0 count against that leadoff hitter. Merriman enters today's matchup with an 0-1 record as Francisco steps out of the box and regroups for this 1-2 pitch with 1 out. Rune, and the ground out goes 4-3 for out number 2. That'll bring up Caleb Wallace with 2 outs. So Ryan Rune at second base with a put out and an assist in this early going. The pitch from Merriman, fouled off, strike 1. Wallace, the starting catcher for the Wasps. He's a junior from Mocksville, North Carolina. That pitch is low and inside, ball 1. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-1 the count. Merriman versus Wallace. And the pitch from the right-hander Merriman, fouled off, strike 2. Michael Merriman, the senior from Cary, North Carolina. And end of inning as Merriman puts away Wallace. So 1-2-3 in the top of the first. We'll head to the bottom of the first. And first look at the Tornadoes offense. Coming up next, Emory and Henry versus Brevard. Thanks for joining us. So the Tornadoes will lead off with Danny Carcillo. Donnie Carcillo, the junior out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, starting in left field, wearing number 1. And he will settle in against JT Augusto, the starting pitcher for Emory and Henry. Augusto, sophomore from Cornelius, North Carolina. 2-0 the count to Carcillo. Strike 1, called strike against Carcillo there from Augusto. Ryan Rune waits on deck for the Tornadoes as the count now runs to 3-1. So hitters count for Carcillo. And ball 4, so Carcillo draws a leadoff walk. That'll bring up Ryan Roon, the second baseman for the Tornadoes, who did a nice job defensively in the top of that first inning. With Carcillo on first after the leadoff walk, Roon first pitch swinging, it's fouled off, strike 1. Strike 2 to Roon. JT Augusto, the left-hander. And here's the 0-2, actually a pickoff throw to first. Trying to keep Carcillo honest over there on the base paths. And strike 3 looking. So Augusto without number 1 for the Wasps. That'll bring up J.J. Wilkes, the first baseman, batting in the 3-hole today for the Tornadoes with the runner on first. Pickoff throw again. Always a different dynamic with a left-hander on the mound in those pickoff throws to first. As a base runner, you have to be very attentive. That left-hander on the mound. Ball 1 to Wilkes. So a 2-0 count to Wilkes, the sophomore from Charlotte. Philip O. Berry High School. And now a 3-0 count to Wilkes. With 1 out, Johnny Flynn waits on deck for the Tornadoes. Here's the 3-0, called strike. So remains a hitter's count for Wilkes here. And another pickoff throw. Augusto working with his first baseman, Talone. As Wilkes puts that into play. A tough hop there handled by the Wasp third baseman, and then the throw just off, pulled the first baseman off, so a fielder's choice goes from the third baseman to second baseman to retire the lead runner. So now a conversation between the two umpires just confirming that, in fact, the second half of that potential double play was not converted. So it'll go in the books as a fielder's choice, and now Wilkes will be the base runner at first base with Flynn at the plate for the Tornadoes. Another pickoff throw to first base. Now trying to keep Wilkes in check. First pitch strike there. Augusto against Johnny Flynn. Flynn, the center fielder for the Tornadoes, batting in that leadoff or that cleanup position. Strike 2 now to Flynn. 2 outs. Wilkes, the runner on first. And they got Wilkes cheating a little there on first. Pickoff throw to first, but Wilkes will collect the stolen base. So now suddenly Wilkes in scoring position. So even though the pickoff throw was effective, not sure if the shortstop was on the same page for Emory and Henry to convert the play, but that'll be out number 3, 6-3 on the putout. So end of the inning, we remain scoreless here, Wasp versus Tornadoes. So we head to the top of the second, scoreless here at Gilcohen Field, and Joe Talone will lead off for Emory and Henry against Michael Merriman, the senior, who retired the Wasp 1-2-3 in that first inning. First pitch is fouled off, strike one. Want to thank all of you for tuning in wherever you may be watching and listening from this Wednesday afternoon. 1-1 now the count. And Talone fouls that pitch off. So 1-2 the count. Talone, the sophomore from Concord, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. And foul tip, strike three. Talone's retired by Merriman. So 4 up, 4 down for Merriman. That'll bring up the DH, Corbin Hawkinsmith. Hawkinsmith listed as a catcher, but playing DH this afternoon out of Huntersville, North Carolina. As he fouls that pitch off. So Merriman quickly up 0-2 against Hawkinsmith. That pitch is high, ball one. 1-2 the count, bases empty. Merriman's retired all 4 batters he's faced in the early goings of this one on a gorgeous Wednesday afternoon in the Blue Ridge Mountains. As Hawkinsmith fouls that off. So 1-2 the count, 1 out. Just missing on that breaking ball was Merriman, so the count will be 2-2, 1 out, base is empty. So 2-2 the count, 1 out. The pitch from Merriman. So the count will be full to the cleanup hitter for the Wasps, Joe Talone. Or check that, Corbin Hawkinsmith. The pitch to Hawkinsmith, fouled off. Count will remain 3-2. So this will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat against Hawkinsmith. And that's driven into center field. First hit of the day for the Wasps. That'll bring up the left fielder, number 34, Logan Forrester. As Merriman had retired the first 4 batters he faced before allowing that ground ball single up the middle by Hawkinsmith. Forrester sends that to left field. Out number 2, runner stays at first. That'll bring up the third baseman, Hayden Milley. Now with 2 outs, runner on first. Hawkinsmith, your runner at first. Milley, the third baseman, at the plate. Milley, a sophomore out of Clover, South Carolina, Clover High School. And here's the 1-1 from Merriman. Pitches just a bit high. 2-1 now the count. Milley stays alive there. So 2-2 the count, 2 outs. Here in the top of the second, deuces wild for Hayden Milley. Pitch from Merriman. Blocked there by Matt Kelly, catcher for the Tornadoes. So now the count runs full. Merriman versus Milley. And Merriman gets some swinging, so strikeout for Michael Merriman leaves a runner stranded for the Wasps. We'll head to the bottom of the second, scoreless here at Gil Cohen Field. Matt Kelly, the catcher, will lead off the bottom of the second for the Tornadoes against JT Augusto, starting pitcher, left-handed pitcher for Emory and Henry. And nice job there, Kelly, staying away from that pitch. Ball 2. Kelly fouls off that Augusto offering, so the count now 2-1 here in the bottom of the second. And Kelly grounds out to the shortstop for out number 1. That'll bring up Holden Lanier, the third baseman for the Tornadoes, after Kelly grounded out for out number 1. First pitch from Augusto's a ball. And Lanier sends that to right field, and out number 2 for the Tornadoes. That'll bring up Joseph Zub, who is the designated hitter this afternoon for the Tornadoes, making his first start of the season. He's 1 for 4 in this young 2019 season. Zub, the freshman from Levittown, New York. And Augusto able to strike out Zub. So we'll head to the third inning. Scoreless here, Brevard versus Emory and Henry. So we head to the top of the third. Scoreless here at Gil Cohen Field. Michael Merriman, very effective through his first 2 innings of work. And he'll now face off against Josiah Calkins, the right fielder for the Wasps. Calkins, a freshman out of Forest, Virginia. 1-1 now the count. Good looking pitch there from Merriman for strike 2. Merriman has allowed just one hit so far, and it was a ground ball right up the middle that made its way to the Tornado center field. And a beautiful pitch there, strikeout looking for Merriman. So now at the bottom of the order, hitting ninth for the Wasp, Lucas Hart, the center fielder. And Hart lays down a bunt right back to Merriman. And Merriman very easy going with that bunt, and it results in a base hit for the Wasps. So back to the top of the order for the Wasps, the shortstop Ross French, as kind of a tough break there for the Tornadoes. A poorly executed bunt right back to Merriman, but the base runner Hart able to beat out the throw. Merriman maybe could have used a little more sense of urgency on fielding that bunt. Would have been an easy out. Just a little more urgency on that play was needed. But bottom line is base runner on first for Emory and Henry, as pickoff throw to first, and hustling back is Hart. So Merriman with a good pickoff move there, but Hart able to just beat the throw back to first base. So now 1-0 count. Grounder to second, and the out is made at first. So out number 2 for Merriman and the Tornado defense. So with a runner on second for Emory and Henry, that brings up Andrew Francisco, the second baseman. First pitch high, ball 1 to Francisco. Wind blowing from left to right, gusting at times on this sunny afternoon matinee. And runner moves over to third as that pitch got away from Matt Kelly, the catcher of the Tornadoes. So now runner on third with 2 outs. Good looking pitch there. Called strike. Another good looking pitch. Completely had Francisco fooled there. So 2-2 now the count. 2 outs, runner on third. Kelly had a tough time handling that one as well, but runner stays at third. Nice job by Kelly. Keep that in front of him. So full count now, 2 outs, runner on third. Michael Merriman, your pitcher. Andrew Francisco, the hitter. Francisco puts it into play. And runner is stranded at third. Tornadoes get out of that inning. And we will head to the bottom of the third, still scoreless in this non-conference matchup, Brevard versus Emory and Henry. So we head to the bottom of the third. Josh Van Loo leads off for the Tornadoes. First pitch swinging. It's a fly out to right field, out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Augusto. So Zach Wolf takes a strike there after Van Loo flies out to right. Zach Wolf, starting shortstop for the Tornadoes, takes ball 1. So 1-1 the count, 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the third, scoreless here at Gil Cohen Field. And Wolf with a nice piece of hitting there, single to left on the line drive. Donnie Carcillo, the batter for the Tornadoes. He takes ball 1. So Wolf at first, Carcillo at the plate. Wolf has yet to steal a base this season. Pickoff throw to first, but the Tornadoes as a team, 25 of 26 stolen bases. When you're 25 of 26, you hate to be the one that got caught. So 1-2 the count. Some friendly jabbing going on between those teammates, I'm sure, on that one caught stealing. And make it 25 of 27 on that pickoff caught stealing. So now 2 outs, and the base runner's eliminated on that pickoff move by Augusto. So the Zach Wolf caught stealing, and now Carcillo puts that into play, handled by the Wasp shortstop, and end of the inning as the Tornadoes go down in the bottom of the third. We'll head to inning number 4, scoreless. So Merriman will face off against Caleb Wallace here in the top of the fourth. Still scoreless here. Emory and Henry with 2 hits on the board. The Tornadoes with 1. And an early 2-0 count for Wallace. Wallace sends that 2-0 offering into left field, and it bounces fair, so it's going to be a stand-up double for Caleb Wallace. So that'll bring up Joe Talone with Wallace at second base after that double to left field. Good looking first pitch from Merriman, called strike 1 against Talone. That pitch just missed, so 1-1 the count to Talone. Wasp now with 3 base hits, 2 singles, and a double. As Talone fouls that off. 1-2 the count. Merriman, the lone senior on this Tornadoes roster. So 2-2, no outs, runner on second. And the pitch to Talone just misses on that low outside corner. So 3-2 now the count. Talone sends that to left field. Runner tags up, so opportunity here at third, but Wallace able to beat out the throw, so runner at third, 1 out. So that'll bring up the DH, Corbin Hawkinsmith, now with Wallace at third base. 1 out, so a sacrifice fly could score a run here for the Wasp. Merriman, first pitch, a beauty, strike 1. Some really good looking breaking stuff and off-speed offerings by Merriman. As that ball is drilled into center field, and that's going to be an RBI single for Hawkinsmith as the Wasps take a 1-0 lead. So the 0-0 deadlock is broken on that RBI single by Hawkinsmith. And first pitch swinging there is Forrester. And now runners first and third with 1 out. So that'll bring up Millie, the third baseman for the Wasp. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Forrester jumped on that first pitch from Merriman. And the Wasp now with runners at first and third. First pitch strike. Good looking pitch there from Merriman. Emory and Henry under the direction of Trey McCall. Tornadoes head coach is Sean Walsh. Here's the 0-1, fouled off, 0-2. So Merriman ahead of Millie early in this at-bat. Certainly want to minimize the damage after the Wasp took a 1-0 lead in this top of the fourth, as that's fouled off and Millie able to stay alive. Here's the 0-2, and it's a hit by pitch, so now the bases will be loaded for the Wasps. So now bases loaded, 1 out for Josiah Calkins. Tornadoes could really use a double play at this point. Just get out of this inning all in. First pitch inside, ball 1. Josiah Calkins, the right fielder for Emory and Henry. Now 2-0 the count to Calkins. Calkins takes strike 1, so 2-1 the count, 1 out, bases loaded, as the Wasps have already scored once in this frame. That pitch outside, so now 3-1 the count. So hitter's count for the freshman Calkins. Lucas Hart waits on deck for the Wasps as that ball is put into play, 4-6, and able to turn the double play. Beautifully done by the Tornadoes to get out of that inning. A bases loaded jam for Merriman and the Tornadoes, but they turned the double play, 4-6-3, end of the inning. Wasps are able to get a run, though, in that inning, take a 1-0 lead. We're in the middle of the fourth here at Gil Cohen Field. So Ryan Roon will lead off for the Tornadoes here in the bottom of the fourth, who look to answer after falling behind 1-0 in that top of the fourth. But great job by Roon, the second baseman, and the Tornadoes defense to turn that bases loaded double play to get out of that top of the fourth. 1-1 is floated into shallow right field, and the second baseman makes the play for the Wasps. That'll bring up J.J. Wilkes, the first baseman for the Tornadoes. He takes strike one. Johnny Flynn waits on deck. Matt Kelly in the hole. 1-1, one out. Bases empty for J.J. Wilkes. A pitch in the dirt, ball two. J.T. Augusto, left-handed starting pitcher for the Wasps, as Wilkes fouls that off. And it bounces foul just to the left of the Wasps dugout. Visiting team dugout on the first base side here at Gilcone Field. The Tornadoes dugout on the third base side. As Wilkes fouls that off towards that Tornado dugout. Looks like some action already in the bullpen for Brevard College as well. As Wilkes sends that to left field. Out number two. That'll bring up Johnny Flynn with 2 outs, nobody on. Augusto fools Flynn with that first pitch offering. Getting word that Bryce Bowers is out there in the bullpen for the Tornadoes as Flynn lines out to the third baseman of the Wasps. 3 up, 3 down for the Tornadoes in the bottom of the fourth. We'll head to inning number 5. Emory and Henry leads 1-0. So we head to the top of the 5th. Lucas Hart batting in the 9 hole will lead off for Emory and Henry. First pitch, strike. Good looking pitch there from Merriman. Merriman completely fooled Hart on that last offering, who swings, misses, strike 2. 2-2 now the count. Beautiful sunny skies, 44 degrees at the moment here. As Kelly is trying to shake off a foul ball. Now, athletic trainer Matt Bummer and Kelly has headed into the dugout, so we'll see if there's a change at catcher on this injury or if he just needs some time with the athletic training staff and head athletic trainer Matt Bummer to maybe regroup and get back out there. Current situation, 2-2 the count, no outs. Merriman on the mound for the Tornadoes, Lucas Hart, the hitter for Emory and Henry. And good news, it looks like Matt Kelly's able to get back out there. And we'll get back underway here. And here comes the 2-2. Low and outside, full count now to Lucas Hart. Hart pops that up in foul territory, and Kelly coming right off that slight injury delay with the putout. Nice job there by Matt Kelly. So back to the top of the order for Emory and Henry. This is Ross French, the shortstop, after Hart popped up in foul territory to Kelly. And then French tries to lay down a bunt, just pops it straight up, and Michael Merriman able to get the putout. So poorly executed bunt there ends up with an out for the Wasp. So 2 outs. Here's Andrew Francisco, the second baseman. Strike 1 from Merriman. One now the count to Francisco. Michael Merriman has allowed 5 hits, 1 run. Been very effective most of this outing. And Merriman able to get the final out of the inning, so Merriman and the Tornadoes defense retires the Wasp 1-2-3. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. Emory and Henry leading 1-0. Matt Kelly leads off for the Tornadoes. First pitch swinging, 4-3 on the putout, out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Augusto, and that'll bring up Holden Lanier, third baseman for the Tornadoes. He takes strike 1. Strike 2 now to Lanier. Lanier, the sophomore from Spencer, North Carolina, North Rowan High School. One, two now the count. Augusto versus Lanier. And Lanier fouls that off to stay alive. And strike 3, so 2 outs. Zub first pitch swinging, a line out to the second baseman, so quick inning there for Augusto and the Wasp to retire the Tornadoes 1-2-3. We'll head to the top of inning number 6. Your score remains Emory and Henry 1, Brevard 0. So we head to the top of the 6th. 1-0 Emory and Henry on top. Michael Merriman continues his outing. And leading off for Emory and Henry is Caleb Wallace. Update from the Brevard College softball team. Brevard is in Tucson, Arizona for a tournament. As Wallace puts that into play, 1 out. So the Tornadoes, first of 2 games against Baldwin Wallace at the tournament in Tucson, Arizona. The Tornadoes fall 3-1, but big results yesterday for the Tornadoes, who swept the doubleheader. Tornadoes just dominated North Central, a school out of Minnesota, last night in Tucson, but fall in game 1 today. Beautiful pitch there by Merriman. 1-2 now the count. Also want to congratulate Brevard College men's golf. A great performance at the Cavalier Spring Invitational led by Austin Fisher, who won that event. Popped up to the first baseman, out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for Merriman in the Brevard College defense, and that brings up Corbin Hawkinsmith, the DH. First pitch, strike, painted that outside part of the plate there. And Merriman now ahead 0-2. Count now 2-2. Two the count, 2 outs. And beautiful pitch there. Strikeout looking for Merriman. Retiring Hawkinsmith. Great work by Michael Merriman, the senior for the Tornadoes. So we head to the bottom of the 6th. Emory and Henry 1, Brevard 0. So we head to the bottom of the 6th. See if the Tornadoes can get their bats going. Just 1 hit so far this afternoon against JT Augusto, as Van Loo fouls off that first Augusto offering, strike 1. Now 1-1 the count. Van Loo, Wolf, Carcillo. The 3 Tornadoes due up here in the bottom of the 6th. Van Loo fouls that off. So the count runs to 2-2. Van Loo, nice play by the shortstop of Emory and Henry, but it's going to be an infield hit for Van Loo. So just what the doctor ordered for the Tornadoes, a leadoff base runner for Zach Wolf the shortstop for the Tornadoes. And Josh Van Loo, the runner at first. Ball 1 to Wolf. Only the second hit of the day for the Tornadoes against JT Augusto, the left-hander for Emory and Henry. Potential double play ball here, and it is a double play. 6-3 on the putout. So back to the top of the order for the Tornadoes, but now bases empty after that double play that was turned by the Wasp. And on an 0-1 count, Carcillo pops up for out number 3. So we'll head to the top of the 7th. Emory and Henry 1, Brevard 0. So to the top of the 7th we go. Michael Merriman still on the mound for the Tornadoes, facing off against Forster. Forster, first pitch swinging, ground out to the shortstop. 1 out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Michael Merriman, who now will face off against Hayden Milley, the third baseman. Merriman has been superb this afternoon, allowing just the 1 run on 5 hits. One now the count to Milley. Strike 2. Merriman, a NCAA Division III school out of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Not all that far from here in Brevard. Just over 150 miles. As a beautiful pitch there by Merriman, strike 3. Got him looking. That'll bring up Calkins. So you head up I-81, past Bristol, past Abingdon, Virginia, and you'll find Emory and Henry. Really not that far of a drive from here at Brevard. 1-1 now the count. Just off the plate. Ball 2. And a walk there. The first walk of the day by Merriman. So Merriman with the 1 walk allowed, he has 6 strikeouts. 4 of those have been of the looking variety. Allowed just 1 run on 5 hits. As that bunt goes foul. Now the other starting pitcher, JT Augusto for Emory and Henry, no runs on 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. So runner on first, 2 outs. Hart your batter. Here's the pitch from Merriman. Runner going, and it's going to be a stolen base. Ball ends up in the outfield, backed up nicely by the Tornado center fielder to prevent any more damage there. But now runner in scoring position. Calkins, after he reached base via the walk, and now with a 1-1 count and 2 outs. Pitch to Hart. Beautiful looking breaking ball there from Merriman. 1-2 now the count. And got him looking. Strikeout number 7. 5 of those strikeouts. Strikeout looking from Michael Merriman. Just a tremendous 7 innings pitched for him. But now it's time for the Brevard Bats. As one last chance for the Tornadoes, we head to the bottom of the 7th. 1-0, Emory and Henry. So I do want to correct one thing I mentioned at the end of the last half inning, last chance for the Tornadoes. This game, of course, scheduled for 9 innings, so got a ways to go still. But just great work by Merriman through 7 complete. Getting word from a few of the insiders up here in the press box that that might be it for Michael Merriman. (0-2) the count to Ryan Roon. As Roon puts that into play, easy play for the Wasp second baseman, 1 out. So that'll bring up J.J. Wilkes as Tornadoes still trying to get some offense going here. Only 2 hits thus far. Had a hard time figuring out this left-hander, Augusto. Wilkes 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Johnny Flynn on deck for the Tornadoes. Count runs to 3-0. Called strike there. 3-1 the count, 1 out. J.J. Wilkes, your batter. Wilkes fouls that off. Wilkes entered today with a .316 batting average. 12 hits and 38 at-bats entering today, including 3 doubles. And ball 4, so the second walk issued by Augusto, and Wilkes will be the base runner at first. That'll bring up Johnny Flynn with Wilkes, the base runner at first. 1 out. Augusto, good-looking pitch there, painting the outside corner against Flynn. Pickoff throw to first, trying to keep Wilkes in check. Flynn with 3 RBIs on the season. And he drives that into left field. Good-looking piece of hitting by Johnny Flynn. Runners first and second for the Tornadoes, 1 out. So big opportunity here for the Tornadoes, and Matt Kelly at the plate, as there's now going to be a meeting at the mound. As the Emory and Henry coaching staff surely recognizes how critical of a juncture this is in this ball game. Runners first and second, 1 out for the Tornadoes. Wilkes, your runner at second. Johnny Flynn at first. Matt Kelly at the plate. Holden Lanier is on deck. And Augusto now will settle in against Matt Kelly. That hit by Johnny Flynn, just the 3rd off of Augusto today. Kelly takes ball 1. Kelly takes a strike there, so 1-1 the count, 1 out, runners first and second. Kelly 0 for 2 on the afternoon, as there's more arms warming up in the Tornado bullpen. Kelly puts that into the gap in between left center. It's going to be a 2 RBI double for Matt Kelly, and just like that, the Tornadoes have taken the lead in this ball game 2-1 on the 2-run double by Matt Kelly. as Lanier fouls off that offering from Augusto. A clutch two-run double by Matt Kelly into the gap in left center field, scoring two Tornado runners, and another RBI single as Kelly scores all the way from second. Holden Lanier delivering, and now a 3-1 lead for the Tornadoes. So just an offensive explosion in these last couple at bats for the Tornadoes, who have gone up 3-1. And Joseph Zub swings through that first offering by Augusto. A two-run double by Matt Kelly, followed by an RBI single by Holden Lanier. And what was a 1-0 deficit has become a 3-1 advantage for the Tornadoes. Action in the bullpen continues for Brevard College. As that pop-up to shortstop, it's going to be out number 2. So a meeting at the mound as Van Loo was announced as the hitter for the Tornadoes. And it looks like Emory and Henry is going to go with a pitching change here as JT Augusto has given up the lead to the Tornadoes. And we'll have a new pitcher for Emory and Henry. So Zach Shepard, the new pitcher for the Wasps. Shepard, the senior from Christiansburg, Virginia, Christiansburg High School. And he relieves JT Augusto. So Augusto, 6 2/3 inning, 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks. All 3 runs were earned. Neither team, by the way, has committed an error in this contest. And the hitter for the Tornadoes to face off against Shepard here with 2 outs will be Josh Van Loo. So Van Loo, your batter. Now Augusto is still responsible for that runner at first base as Zach Shepard has relieved the left-handed starter for Emory and Henry. Shepard thrown from the right side, and strike 1 to Van Loo. Each team with 5 hits. Tornadoes with 3 runs, all in this inning. 1 run for Emory and Henry They scored that back in the top of the fourth. Runner going, and stolen base there. So now runner in scoring position for Van Loo. So Lanier with the stolen base. Now a pickoff attempt at second, trying to catch Lanier off balance, but he's able to get back. So Holden Lanier now 3 for 3 in stolen base attempts this season. As Van Loo puts that into play and grounds out to the shortstop. But the Tornadoes with a big bottom of the seventh, going ahead 3-1. We'll head to the top of the eighth. Brevard 3, Emory and Henry 1. So new pitcher for the Tornadoes is Bryce Bowers. After a tremendous outing for Michael Merriman, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. 5 of those strikeouts he caught the Wasp looking, and Bryce Bowers will now handle the pitching duties for the Tornadoes. He's a freshman from Madisonville, Tennessee. So to the top of the order we go for the Wasp. Ross French squaring off against Bowers. Getting word that Kyle Williams is warming up in the bullpen for the Tornadoes. French fouls that off. 0-2 the count, so Bowers ahead early on the leadoff header for the Wasp. As the Tornadoes bullpen now has the job of trying to protect this lead. Grounder to Wolf, out number 1. That'll bring up. That'll bring up Andrew Francisco. One now the count to Francisco. Francisco 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Joe Talone waits on deck for the Wasps. Here's the 1-2. High and outside, ball 2. And the first error of the game gives the Wasp a base runner. That'll bring up Caleb Wallace with Francisco now at first base after the error by the Tornado shortstop. Tornadoes with a 3-1 lead, each team with 5 hits. First error of the game for either side just there. So 1 error for the Tornadoes, none for the Wasp. This closely contested ball game, difference so far has been that big bottom of the 7th for the Tornadoes. Nice job by Kelly to block that offering from Bowers. Bryce Bowers relieving Michael Merriman. Merriman was just fantastic. 1 earned run on 5 hits over 7 innings, 7 strikeouts. Pickoff throw to first. And Francisco able to get back safely. So fielder's choice goes 5-4 for out number 2. So the runner was rewarded second after the throwing error as the Tornadoes tried to complete a double play. The throw to first ends up out of play, runner rewarded second. So fielder's choice and an error. And then Talone doubles to right to score Wallace, and the Tornadoes now lead 3-2. So that'll bring up Hawkinsmith with the runner on second after that RBI double by Talone. Cut the Tornadoes' lead to 3-2. The Wasp with one run in the fourth and now another in the eighth. One, two, the count, 2 outs, 3-2. Brevard leading Emory and Henry. Bowers knocks down that and then makes the play. What a play on the mound by Bryce Bowers defensively to get out of that inning and to limit the damage done. 3-2. Now your score. So we'll head to the bottom of the eighth. Brevard 3, Emory and Henry 2. So to the bottom of the eighth we go in this tight ball game between the Wasp and the Tornadoes. First pitch swinging is Zach Wolf. He flies out to right field for out number 1. So back to the top of the order we go for the Tornadoes. Donnie Carcillo, the left fielder, with 1 out. As Zach Shepard continues to work on the mound for Emory and Henry. 1-0 the count now. And it's going to be a base hit to left, a diving effort by the left fielder of the Wasp, but a double for Carcillo. So with Ryan Roon at the plate, another meeting at the mound for Emory and Henry. So each team now with 6 hits. Tornadoes holding on to a 3-2 lead, trying to get an insurance run here after that double by Carcillo. And Ryan Roon now at the plate for the Tornadoes. Against Zach Shepard. Right-handed reliever for the Wasps. Swing and a miss there. Fastball from Shepard. The 1-1 to Ryan Roon. Swing and a miss. 1-2 now the count. J.J. Wilkes on deck for the Tornadoes. Roon fouls that straight back. So 1-2 the count, 1 out. Carcillo, after a double to left field, is the base runner at second base. And out number 2 as Carcillo's picked off on the base paths. So that eliminates the runner in scoring position for the Tornadoes. Roon fouls off another one. So now 2 outs. And foul tip, strike 3. So end of the inning for the Tornadoes. Head to the top of the 9th. Brevard 3, Emory and Henry 2. So to the top of the 9th we go. And Logan Forrester will lead off for the Wasp. He takes strike 1 from Bryce Bowers, who, if he can retire the Wasp, he'll be in line for a save. Bowers did allow 1 run in that 8th inning. It was an unearned run. Michael Merriman with a masterful start for the Tornadoes. And now Bowers, strike 2 to Forster. Hayden Milley on deck. Although it looks like it might be a pinch hitter for Emory and Henry. And great play by the defense of the Tornadoes. Out number 1. So it is indeed a pinch hitter for the Wasps. Number 49, Cody Proctor. Just a brilliant play defensively by the middle infield of the Tornadoes to get that first out. As Bryce Bowers goes back to work now, 1 out here in the top of the 9th, trying to close out this win for the Tornadoes. 1-1 now the count to Proctor. Proctor listed as both a left-handed pitcher and a first baseman. And through the legs of the Tornadoes shortstop and a base runner for the Wasp. So pinch runner for the Wasp. That's Boggs, Dan Roy Boggs at first base. And at the plate now, Josiah Calkins. So after a brilliant play defensively earlier in this inning by the middle infield, the Tornadoes commit an error to give the Wasp a base runner here in the top of the 9th. 0-2 now the count. Bowers on the mound facing Calkins. That's fouled off, so Calkins stays alive. On deck for the Wasp is Lucas Hart. Boggs, the pinch runner at first. Calkins fouls that off just barely to stay alive. And now a meeting at the mound for the Tornadoes. Assistant coach Kevin Allingham in a conference with catcher Matt Kelly and relief pitcher Bryce Bowers to see if they can finish off this top of the 9th, close out this win for the Tornadoes. Calkins with an 0-2 count versus Bowers. And got Calkins looking for out number 2. So another pinch hitter for the Wasp, Chandler Cazelli, the junior left-handed hitter from Marshall, Virginia, as the Tornadoes now 1 out away from this victory. Bryce Bowers with a beautiful off-speed breaking ball. Strike one, completely fooled Cazelli on that first offering. Boggs, the base runner at first for the Wasp. He represents the tying run. Bowers, strike two on the foul tip. So now 1 strike away from a Tornadoes victory. Here comes the 0-2 from Bowers. Strike three. Tornadoes win. So big win for the Tornadoes as Bryce Bowers earns the save, going 2 complete innings, allowing just 1 unearned run, 2 strikeouts, including that final out against the Wasp. Michael Merriman, the winning pitcher, was just fantastic. 7 innings pitched, 1 run, 5 hits allowed, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts looking. And the Tornadoes with a very gratifying victory over Emory and Henry. Tornadoes were held scoreless through the first 6.5 innings of this game until Matt Kelly doubled to left center, 2 RBI double, put the Tornadoes in the lead. That scored Johnny Flynn and J.J. Wilkes. And then in the bottom of the 7th as well, Holden Lanier with an RBI single scoring Kelly. So the Tornadoes with 3 runs in that 7th inning. The Lanier RBI single ultimately is the game-winning RBI and a big win for the Tornadoes over Emory and Henry. Next up for the Tornadoes is a scheduled 3-game series this weekend at Maryville. Officials are keeping a close eye on potential weather that might alter that schedule. Best advice I could give you would be to keep an eye on www.bctornadoes.com or also follow on social media at BC Tornadoes on Twitter or Instagram. You can also go to Brevard College Tornadoes Athletics on Facebook for updates, and keep an eye on that series this weekend at Maryville. Next home games for the Tornadoes will be March 15th, 16th, and 17th, a 3-game USA South Conference series against Huntington. So your final score for the final time, Brevard 3, Emory and Henry 2. Thanks for joining the broadcast. We'll see you down the road. Go Tornadoes.